So just take a look at the asset preservation. The point I'm going to make is that parang sa maintenance na pupunta yung 23 budget at saka yung trend. Imbis na to build new networks and to build an infrastructure program, parang sa flood control at saka sa maintenance, no? So kung makikita mo 2019, 2020, 2021, kalahati lang ang asset preservation sa network development program. Pero pagdating ng 2022, pumantay na. Ganun din ang flood control, no? From 90 billion, it's now 166 billion, no? Ang local program tinanggal noong 2022 and it was replaced, it was included na sa convergence and meron bago silang item locally funded projects, no? So next slide. So my question is this really a build better more or is it a build flood control and maintenance pa more? No? So let me go to some observations. Next slide, please. Asset preservation only has half the budget. I mentioned that na, no? So, yung budget po ng DPWH is divided into general administration and support, support to operations, and operations. Under asset preservation, it's 90 billion pesos. Okay? Under support to operations, we have 11 billion for maintenance. No? This is under letter E, maintenance, repair, rehab, infrastructure. Bureau proper, napakaliit, 71 million. But yung routine maintenance is 6.8 billion of national roads. Routine maintenance of national bridges is 759 million. And maintenance of floating equipment is 467 million. Okay, but under operations, meron tayong asset preservation program. Doon po, ang maintenance at saka mga rehab is 90 billion. And then if you go to flood management under operations, letter B, construction and maintenance of flood mitigation projects, it's 105 billion pesos. And I was surprised, I think, I'm not an expert here, so I'm not sure, but it's the first time na nakita kong may maintenance for foreign-assisted projects. There's a preventive maintenance for foreign-assisted projects, primary road, 891 million, and for tertiary road, 662 million. So kung i-add ko lahat ng maintenance at rehab, mahigit 200 billion. So it's like almost a third of the budget. So this is not a build better, more budget. This is a maintenance budget.
Comment.
While they're gathering the answer,
Medyo mahaba yung paliwanag ko nila eh. So
yes.
I've tried to ask them to
Would you rather, Mr. Chairman,
come up with a
that we-
succinct explanation.
with the permission of the Senate President, would you rather the DPWH answer directly kung medyo numbers at mahaba ito? At your pleasure, Mr. Chairman.
Maybe we'll give it a go and
Yeah.
if talagang hindi nila
Yes.
mag-shorten.
I don't want to tire you out, Mr.
No
Chairman.
problem,
so at your
Mr.
pleasure, please.
No problem, Your Honor, Mr. President. We just I've been asking them since 2 o'clock when we started to shorten their explanation or perhaps to put it in writing. So
Mr. President, if you look at the asset preservation, no, 45 billion 2019, 52 billion
Basically,
2020.
some of the points they've said, Your Honor, is that they're trying to catch up with their asset preservation program. That's what I gathered. Ano pa ho?
Then is there something wrong with the kind of public works we do? Kasi kung parang 1:1 na yung bago sa preserve mo, ibig sabihin either hindi maganda yung pagkagawa or napakaluma na. Pero akala ko ang build, nagsimula lang sa Duterte administration.
Just give me a simple explanation for why does it approach 200? Yeah, the DPWH is pointing to a breakdown, Your Honor. Preventive maintenance of bridges and roads. But I'm explaining to them that your question is why it is at the level of 200 billion, which is
I have the breakdown, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Okay, we can go through it. As I said, no, doon sa support to operations, you already have 11 billion. And you already specified the projects there. Routine maintenance national roads. So I think routine naman is quite simple English, di ba? So meron yang 6 billion. Then may almost 1 billion maintenance of national bridges. And then maintenance of floating equipment, 467 billion. Let's use this as an example. Ano ba yung floating equipment?
this is dredging equipment, according to them, Your Honor.
Yeah. How much worth of dredging equipment do we have? More or less.
Are you asking about the value, Your Honor, or the number of
Yeah, the value.
the value?
Just in layman terms. So if you say we have
layman
100 dredging machines and each of them are 50 million each or 200 million each, more or less.
We have about 90 amphibious excavators, Your Honor, 40 multipurpose amphibious dredgers, 21 cutter suction dredgers, 20 support vessels, 2 trash skimmers, and 63 land-based equipment.
And more or less the value of said equipment. More or less lang po. See, you can put it in a range, 10 to 15 billion worth. Is it 5 billion worth or?
Maybe 15 or 20 billion, Your Honor.
Okay.
They're somewhere in the area.
Because if you look at the last 5 years, Your Honor, in 2019, 215 million lang yung maintenance niya. Nung 2020, biglang naging 915 million ang maintenance niya. Then 430. Then this year, it's only 100 million. Next year, 467 na naman. So parang napaka-erratic at ang layo ng price. And then if you put the money together, this is 2 billion. So it's parang 10%. So I assume that's why we bought those equipment because it's cheaper to use it and operate it than to contract out the dredging. Pero kung ganito kalaki yung maintenance, which I'll bring it to another point later on. But Mr. President and Mr. Chairman, this is only letter E under support to operations. Under actual operations, you have 90 billion. The breakdown they're talking about is this. Primary roads is 14 billion. Preventive maintenance po yan.
Turo mo.
Secondary roads are 11 billion. Tertiary roads are 6 billion. But there's another 17 billion for rehabilitation, construction, upgrading of paved roads. For primary roads, it's 7 billion. Secondary roads, 5 billion. Tertiary roads, 4 billion. Pwera pa yung 33 billion for rehabilitation and construction of roads with slips, slope, collapse, and landslide. Ang primary roads is 6 billion. Ang secondary roads is 15 billion. Ang tertiary roads is 11 billion. Take note, last year, the rehabilitation of secondary roads was 32 billion for that category alone. Then construction, upgrading, and rehab of drainage of national roads, no? Hindi ko na-include yan. There was a time when people were building roads without drainage, so baka dapat ayusin nila 6 billion. But then you go down to under the bridge program, meron po ditong retrofitting and strengthening of permanent bridges. So retrofitting is maintenance or repair, di ba? Then meron kang rehabilitation, major repair of permanent bridges. This is 4 billion and 2 billion respectively. The construction of new bridges is only 1.3 billion. Pero ang retrofitting at rehab is 6.8 billion. So we're not building better, more. We're maintaining and repairing and maintaining and rehabilitating. You're not putting money in building more networks. You're putting money in maintaining.
You're correct, Your Honor, according to the department.
Well, I hope the...
They have to maintain the assets according to them, Your Honor.
Yeah, well, 2 points about that. Then you have to inform the president. Because umaasa siya na build better, more ito eh. Diba? Hindi better maintenance.